careful. You are about to be hospitalized in the next 2 days because God says this is an urgent message only for you, the one whose heart has cried in silence, the one who has carried a weight that nobody else could see, the one who pretended to be strong even when the inside of your soul felt like it was collapsing. God says He is watching you right now, and He has sent Archangel Michael forward because you have stepped into a moment of divine timing you didn't even know was coming. God says the message you are receiving is not random, not accidental, not something the world stumbled into. It is intentional. It is chosen. It is marked with your name. God says He knows you are tired. He knows you have been stretched to your limits, and He knows you are wondering why certain people behaved the way they did. He knows that confusion was building inside you day by day. So now, He gives you clarity, protection, and a message that must not be ignored. Archangel Michael says he has been guarding you day and night, even during the moments when you felt abandoned. He saw the unseen attacks, the silent jealousy, the hidden intentions of people who smiled at your face but carried a different truth in their heart. Archangel Michael says he has been whispering to you, warning you, showing you signs, and sending you dreams that felt strange, intense, or emotionally heavy. He says the reason is simple: something was being poured into your life spiritually. Something that wasn't meant to be there, something someone tried to channel toward you out of envy, resentment, or confusion. But what they meant for harm cannot break you because God is covering you. God says that the phrase "about to be hospitalized" is not a literal prediction of your physical health, but a spiritual metaphor, a symbolic wake-up call about how deeply you were affected by someone's energy, words, intentions, or actions. God says this is about emotional exhaustion, spiritual burnout, and the heavy pressure placed on your heart. God says He saw that someone poured negativity into your life, poured false words, poured stress, poured fear, poured confusion, trying to weaken you or make you collapse inside your spirit. But God says, you will not fall. You will not break. You will not be harmed. I am with you. God says He is lifting this weight off you right now as these words reach you. There is something God wants you to understand. You are not weak for feeling tired, and you are not wrong for sensing something was off. You have been picking up spiritual truths without even realizing it. You have been discerning energies, reading situations, and understanding people in ways they never expected. You have been growing spiritually even in silence. God says that's why your spirit felt heavy, because you were absorbing everything around you, often more than you should. But now He is clearing your path. Now He is removing what was poured into your atmosphere that didn't belong to you. Now He is purifying your energy. God says, I am restoring you. Archangel Michael says there is something you have been ignoring in your heart because you didn't want to assume, you didn't want to accuse, and you didn't want to believe the worst. But your intuition was trying to warn you. There is someone whose energy drained you, whose presence confused you, or whose words didn't match their intentions. They poured something into your spirit: fear, doubt, guilt, insecurity, or emotional heaviness. They may not have done it intentionally or consciously, but the effect still reached you. Archangel Michael says he stepped in to protect your mind from going into overload, your emotions from collapsing, and your soul from being overwhelmed. He has been holding your spiritual body upright even when your emotional body felt like it was falling. God says what they poured into your life is being removed right now. God says this message is arriving at the exact second your spirit needed it the most. You are not imagining the timing. You are not imagining the urgency. You are not imagining the way your heart reacts when you read this. God says that is His confirmation that He is speaking to you right now. He says there is no coincidence in the way your soul is responding. He is touching you. He is deprogramming the negative energy that entered your life. He is removing the spiritual weight that was poured onto your shoulders. Archangel Michael says he saw you almost collapse emotionally. He saw your sleepless nights, your racing thoughts, your sudden fear, or your random anxiety. He saw how one moment you were strong and the next moment you felt like your whole chest was tightening. He says this was not physical danger but spiritual tension. He says someone's words, actions, or emotional energy created a pressure in your spirit. But He caught it before it consumed you. He intercepted what was meant to disturb you. He blocked the full impact. He shielded your life. He strengthened your heart behind the scenes. God says you are safe. God says nothing will go wrong with you. God says no one can harm you. God says no force, no energy, no person, no intention can break the protection He placed over you. You have been walking with protection that others cannot see. You have been living under divine surveillance. God has been watching everything around you, everything near you, everything spoken about you, everything done behind your back. He says He will not allow anything to destroy you. He says you are chosen. There is a reason God is speaking to you like this today. There is a reason Archangel Michael is speaking urgently. It is because your spiritual level is rising. Your discernment is activating. Your destiny is shifting. Your life is entering a new chapter. And whenever that happens, there is always pressure from spiritual resistance. There is always an increase in emotional attacks, misunderstandings, or sudden heaviness. But God says, you are crossing into a new dimension of purpose, and nothing can stop you. God says something powerful is coming your way. Something blessed. Something transformative. Something that will change your environment. But before that blessing arrives, He must clear everything negative that was poured into your atmosphere. That is what this message is doing. It is cleansing. It is breaking old energy. It is removing the residue of stress, betrayal, worry, or fear that entered your life. Archangel Michael says you have been carrying too much alone. You have been trying to stay strong for everyone. You have been trying to hold yourself together while also holding others together. You have been giving your energy generously, lovingly, selflessly. But someone's energy entered your life and created a drain. That drain stopped today. That drain ended the moment you opened this message. That drain cannot touch you anymore. God says you need rest. Not physical rest alone, but soul rest. Heart rest. Emotional rest. Mental rest. He says rest is restoration, and restoration is preparation. God says the next 2 days are not days of danger but days of healing. Days of recovery. Days of emotional detox. Days of spiritual renewal. Days where He will remove every bit of heaviness. He says He will lift what others poured into your life and refill you with peace, clarity, strength, and divine confidence. God says He is touching your heart right now. He is calming your thoughts. He is slowing your fears. He is dissolving the pressure inside your spirit. He is reminding your soul that you are safe. He says He will walk with you every second. He says He will not let you fall. He says He will guide you gently in these days of healing because you deserve to breathe again, you deserve to feel light again, you deserve to feel safe again. Archangel Michael says He will stand by your side. He says He will not leave you. He says no matter who tried to pour negativity, He is pouring strength into your spirit now. He is pouring clarity. He is pouring courage. He is pouring peace. He is removing fear. He is lifting the fog. He is restoring what was affected. He is healing the emotional bruises you didn't tell anyone about. God says your story is protected. Your life is protected. Your heart is protected. He says no matter what happened, no matter what someone poured into your atmosphere, He is cleansing you from all of it. He says your future is safe, your destiny is safe, your soul is safe. He says you are not alone. You are covered. God says just trust Him. God says pray to Him. God says rely on Him. God says He is already working everything out. God says nothing will go wrong with you. God says this message reached you right on time because He is healing you right now, restoring you right now, protecting you right now, and preparing you for something far greater than you can imagine. God says you are safe, you are safe, you are safe, and you are loved beyond measure. God is speaking to you in this moment because your heart has been asking questions no one else can hear. There is a quiet trembling inside your spirit, a silent feeling that something unseen has been moving around you, and heaven has chosen this exact moment to reveal what you were meant to hear. Archangel Michael steps forward with a light so bright it makes the shadows around you dissolve. He is not here in anger. He is not here in fear. He is here because you have been standing at a doorway that only the brave and the chosen can stand at. You think you are alone, but heaven has been following every breath, every step, every struggle you've carried without a word. God says that the weight you feel on your chest is not weakness, it is spiritual pressure from what you have survived. Someone tried to interfere with your peace, and their words left an invisible mark on you. Not a physical injury, not something that will harm your body, but something that attempted to shake your spirit from the inside. And when Michael says, "Be careful," he is not warning you in a worldly sense, he is telling your soul to stay alert because you are entering a powerful shift. The message that sounds like danger is not danger at all, it is preparation. Heaven does not frighten you, heaven informs you so you rise above what was designed to break you. God says you must understand this clearly, nothing can touch your body without His permission. No physical danger is set for you, no real harm is coming, no hospitalization is written in your destiny. What Archangel Michael means is that your spirit has been overwhelmed, and if you ignore the signs, you may collapse emotionally or spiritually. It is symbolic, not literal. It is heaven's way of saying you need to slow down, breathe, and allow God to refill the parts of you that life has been draining. You are safe. You are protected. You are watched over. But you must stop ignoring the exhaustion inside your soul, the weariness you hide from everyone else. Archangel Michael says that someone poured something into your life that was never meant for you. Not a substance, not a liquid, not anything that harms your body. They poured negativity, doubt, envy, and emotional heaviness. They poured their fear into you. They poured their expectations onto you. They poured their secret jealousy into your path hoping you would stumble. But you didn't. You kept walking. You kept believing. You kept holding faith even when your heart felt like falling apart. Heaven saw this. Heaven counted every moment of your strength. And now heaven is stepping in to correct what was poured into your spirit. God says that these next 2 days are not days of danger. They are days of cleansing. They are days where the emotional and spiritual weight you've been carrying will begin to lift. It will feel intense because transformation always feels like something is cracking open inside you. You will sense your intuition becoming sharper, your dreams shifting, your energy becoming more sensitive. This is not hospitalization, this is spiritual healing. This is your soul being admitted into heaven's light for restoration. And when Michael says be careful, he means be gentle with yourself. Be aware of your feelings. Be mindful of what drains you. Pay attention to who tries to pull you into their darkness. God is wrapping you in a shield so strong that nothing spoken against you will stand. Someone recently attempted to attach fear to your spirit. They wanted you to believe that something terrible was forming around you. But God says that no fear projected toward you will ever manifest in your reality. It stops before it touches you. It dissolves before it reaches your home. It evaporates before it enters your life. Heaven has cancelled every negative intention. You are walking under divine surveillance, divine protection, divine covering. There is a reason Michael is speaking urgently. You have been ignoring signs of emotional exhaustion, ignoring your inner voice, ignoring your deep spiritual call. You've been pushing through pain without resting, smiling through heartbreak, giving even when you felt empty. Heaven cannot allow you to continue this way without intervention. And so they speak with urgency, not to frighten you, but to bring your attention back to yourself. You have been pouring and pouring and pouring into others, but now God is pouring into you. God says that something heavy was placed on your spirit by someone who does not understand your purpose. They do not understand your sensitivity. They do not understand the spiritual calling over your life. They spoke carelessly, acted carelessly, and tried to impose their darkness on your light. You felt it. You felt drained. You felt confused. You felt a sudden heaviness around you. And heaven says, that was not you. That was what they poured into your energy. But now heaven is reversing it. Everything that was placed on you is being removed. Everything that was projected toward you is returning to its source harmlessly. Everything meant to trouble your spirit is dissolving. Angels are cleansing your path, clearing your mind, lifting your heart, and restoring what has been drained. Archangel Michael says that your breakthrough is closer than your fear. That is why the spiritual pressure increased. When something good is coming, negativity tries to attach itself to you as a last attempt to derail you. But it already failed. You are still chosen. You are still protected. You are still anointed for blessings that cannot be stolen. God says that your heart has been too forgiving, too open, too soft to people who took advantage of you. But He sees everything. He knows every tear you swallowed, every moment you stayed silent to keep peace, every time you carried burdens that weren't yours. And because of this, heaven is bringing divine justice into your life. Not punishment to others, but restoration to you. What was drained from your spirit will be returned multiplied. What was taken from your peace will be repaid in joy. What was whispered against your destiny will become irrelevant. These next 2 days are about your spiritual body going into healing mode. Do not mistake spiritual intensity for physical danger. You are safe. Your body is safe. Your life is safe. Michael stands guard over your doorway. God surrounds your nights. Your breath is protected. Your steps are watched. Your future is sealed in light. God says He will not allow anything harmful to touch you. Not now. Not ever. You have been chosen because your heart carries a purity that is rare. You feel deeply. You love deeply. You hope deeply. And heaven is not going to let darkness weigh you down any longer. You may feel moments of sudden emotion, sudden memories, sudden tiredness. That is heaven cleaning your inner world. Let it happen. Let it wash through you. Let God refill you. Let Michael shield you. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is happening to you. Something is happening for you. God says that what was poured into your spirit is being replaced with divine clarity. You will see people's true intentions. You will recognize who drains your energy. You will sense who is genuine and who is pretending. You will no longer carry burdens that aren't yours. Your heart will feel lighter. Your mind will feel clearer. Your energy will feel stronger. Someone tried to confuse you, overwhelm you, or make you doubt yourself. But God says their influence ends now. Their words lose power now. Their energy detaches from you now. You are rising above their intentions. You are stepping into spiritual strength you didn't know you had. You are becoming everything heaven has been preparing you to be. Michael says the urgent tone is because your transformation is happening quickly. It will feel like a rush of energy, like something shifting in your life faster than you can explain. But do not fear the speed. It is heaven accelerating your blessings. God says you are safe. Your body is safe. Your future is safe. Nothing will go wrong with you. Nothing is collapsing around you. What you are feeling is change, not danger. Healing, not harm. Awakening, not fear. Trust God. Trust Michael. Trust the process your spirit is going through. You are protected. You are loved. You are surrounded by light, and God says, this message reached you because you were meant to hear it today. You are not alone. Heaven is with you. Always, God says this message is being delivered to you in a moment where heaven's attention is fixed upon your heart, because something within you has been silently shifting, and today the spiritual realm refuses to let you continue without hearing this. God says He is speaking directly into the place you thought nobody could reach. A place even you tried to avoid because it holds the weight of fear, exhaustion, and unanswered questions. God says He knows how tired your spirit has been, even when your face shows strength. He knows the quiet moments when your soul trembled but your voice stayed silent. And He says this message is urgent, chosen, and whispered into your life because He refuses to lose you to fear or confusion. Archangel Michael steps forward in the Spirit and says, don't ignore this. I have been protecting you from arrows you never saw. I have been standing at the door of your life with my sword drawn, refusing every attempt of darkness to drain your strength. Michael says there is something you have been carrying inside you emotionally, spiritually, mentally, something someone poured into your spirit through words, intentions, jealousy, or manipulation, and that weight has been trying to break you. He says, you feel this heaviness not in your body but in your soul, and if you keep carrying it alone, it will collapse your energy, your clarity, your peace. I am here because I will not let your spirit fall into a place that feels like spiritual hospitalization, a place where you feel too exhausted to move, too overwhelmed to breathe properly, too burdened to continue. God says the next 2 days are important for you not because something bad will happen physically, but because heaven is preparing a spiritual detox. A deep cleansing from something that has attached to you emotionally. God says someone poured their bitterness, their envy, or their fear into you. Maybe it came through an argument, maybe through their silence, maybe through their energy, maybe through a memory that keeps resurfacing, maybe through a relationship that drained you without permission. God says this thing began affecting your emotions, your sleep, your confidence, your decisions, and He will not let it continue. God says these next 2 days are sacred, because He is removing this spiritual poison from your inner world and replacing it with strength. Archangel Michael says you have ignored certain signs recently because you didn't want to create problems or listen to negativity. You tried to stay positive. God says this directly to your spirit right now, and the moment your eyes land on these words, something begins moving around you in the unseen world. This message is not random, not accidental, not something you stumbled upon casually. God says He pulled you into this moment because there is something that needed to reach you before anything else happens in your life. God says you have been feeling a strange heaviness, a pressure, a sense that something is happening behind your back and you cannot see it clearly. And God says the truth is, you are right. Archangel Michael has been watching every step around your life, guarding every breath you take, and he says this message must reach you now before the next 2 days unfold in ways you are not prepared for. Archangel Michael says someone has been pouring something into your life energetically, not physically, not medically, but spiritually, emotionally, mentally. Something heavy, something draining, something that has been designed to pull you down, weaken your strength, and make you feel like your body and mind are collapsing under burdens you were never meant to carry. God says you have been wondering why your heart feels tired, why your spirit has been restless, why your dreams have been intense, and why your thoughts have been shifting in strange ways. God says it is because someone has been sending you a weight, an emotional and spiritual burden you never asked for, and they expected you to break under it. But God says He will not let you break. He will not let you fall. He will not let you collapse. And He will not let you be harmed. God says that in the next 2 days, something major around you will be revealed, not to harm you, but to protect you. The phrase "you are about to be hospitalized" that your spirit heard was not a threat, it was a warning from Archangel Michael about the emotional collapse or spiritual exhaustion you were heading toward because of the pressure someone poured into your energy. But God says He is stepping in before anything gets that far. God says you will not fall. You will not be harmed. You will not be taken away. You will not lose anything. God says, you are safe with me. You are protected under my wings. You are not going anywhere. God says someone tried to drain your strength so deeply that you would feel powerless, confused, tired, overwhelmed, and unable to move forward. They thought that if they poured enough negativity into you, you would become too weak to fight. They thought your heart would collapse under stress. They thought your mind would give up. They thought your emotions would break. But God says, I did not allow it. I did not permit it. I stepped in before they could finish. God says you have been carrying things that weren't yours. You have been carrying the weight of other people's jealousy, their anger, their hidden intentions, their silent expectations, their spiritual pressure. God says someone has been secretly hoping that you would lose your balance, lose your peace, lose your clarity, lose your sense of direction. Someone has been hoping you would break because your strength intimidates them, your light exposes them, your presence bothers them, and your destiny threatens everything they planned. But God says nothing they did worked. Nothing they sent worked. Nothing they tried succeeded. Because before their thoughts reached you, Archangel Michael stood in front of you like a shield of fire. God says Michael has been fighting battles for you that you don't even know about. There were moments where you suddenly felt dizzy, tired, overwhelmed, or confused, not because something bad was happening to you physically, but because spiritually, Michael was blocking something that was meant to hit you. God says the battles you never saw were more intense than the situations you faced in your daily life. But God did not allow any of it to reach your body. God says your spirit has been exhausted, not because you are weak, but because you have been fighting invisible battles that others would never survive. God says He knows you have been wondering why you feel drained even when you rest, why you feel emotionally heavy even when nothing bad is happening around you, why your mind feels tired even when you have slept, why your heart feels overwhelmed even when you try to stay positive. God says it's because someone poured their problems, their intentions, their negativity, their emotional darkness into your energy field. They wanted you to carry what was theirs because they could not handle it themselves. They tried to pour stress into your spirit. They tried to pour fear into your thoughts. They tried to pour confusion into your path. But God says no more. God says He is cutting off that flow. God says the spiritual channel they used to drain you is closing permanently. God says the next 2 days are not days of danger, they are days of protection. These are the days where God is going to return everything that was poured into you back to the one who sent it. Not in anger, not in revenge, but in divine justice. God says, what was never yours shall not remain with you. God says He is lifting the spiritual weight off your shoulders. He is removing the emotional heaviness from your heart. He is restoring your mind, your peace, your strength, your clarity, your calm, your stability. Archangel Michael says you were never meant to carry this weight. He says He has been guarding your sleep, guarding your breath, guarding your home, guarding your spirit. He says sometimes you felt like crying for no reason, shaking for no reason, feeling anxious for no reason, but it was because Michael was standing between you and something coming toward you spiritually. Michael says you do not know how many times he stopped something from reaching you. He says you do not know how many nights he stood by your bed so that nothing harmful could enter your dreams. He says you do not know how many times he pushed darkness away from you when your guard was down. God says he allowed you to feel some of the heaviness so that you could become aware of the spiritual activity around you. But God says he never allowed anything to reach you physically. He never allowed harm to touch you. He never allowed danger to come near you. God says, I have been with you from the first moment you felt the shift. I have watched every move around you. I have guarded every step. God says he is sending you divine reinforcement right now. He is strengthening your body, refreshing your spirit, restoring your energy, renewing your mind. He is pouring light into you. He is pouring peace into you. He is pouring protection into you. He is pouring clarity into you. He is pouring strength into you. God says, no matter what you heard, no matter what someone tried to do, no matter what anyone poured into your energy, nothing will happen to you. Nothing will go wrong with you. You are safe. You are protected. God says do not fear the next 2 days. Do not expect harm. Expect protection. Expect clarity. Expect revelation. Expect strength. Expect truth. Expect a shift. God says what you were worried about will not happen. What you feared will not come to pass. What you thought was a threat was actually a divine alert to prepare you for protection. God says he will expose the person who tried to pour negativity into your life. Not to shame them, but to show you the truth. God says he will reveal intentions, expose lies, uncover hidden energy, show you who is for you and who is not. God says he will bring peace through clarity. God says you are not alone. You are not unprotected. You are not abandoned. Michael is with you. God is with you. Heaven is standing over your home like a shield that cannot be broken. God says, rest. Pray. Trust. You are safe and nothing will go wrong with you. God says this message reaches you in a moment when your heart has been carrying a weight you haven't spoken about. You've been feeling something unusual around you, something that made you pause, something that made your spirit take a deep breath. God says this wasn't random. This wasn't your imagination. This wasn't confusion. Something was placed around your energy recently, something you couldn't put into words, and Archangel Michael stepped forward immediately to make sure you didn't carry this alone. He says to you, with urgency, with power, with clarity, do not ignore this. You are being guided. You are being guarded. Something attempted to interfere with your peace, and heaven intercepted before it could touch your destiny. God says the message is serious, but not frightening, important, but not dangerous, urgent, but completely surrounded by divine protection. God says there is something you felt in your spirit, almost like someone poured negativity, doubt, or heaviness into your atmosphere. It came from a person who does not understand the spiritual shield around you. They thought you were alone. They thought their intentions would reach you. They thought pouring their energy on you would weaken you. But God says they did not realize how chosen you are. They did not know that you are spiritually watched day and night. They did not expect Archangel Michael to respond so quickly. God says nothing they attempted has the power to harm you. Nothing they projected can attach to you. Nothing they poured into the air around you can take root in your mind or your body or your future. You are fully safe. Every moment of discomfort you've felt lately, every strange pressure on your heart, every sudden fear, every heavy thought was simply your spirit alerting you that something was happening in the background, and heaven was already saying no. God says you need to hear this clearly. You are not in danger, you are being protected. What was meant for destruction has been reversed. What was meant for harm has been dissolved. What was poured toward you spiritually evaporated before it could land. God says the next 2 days are not days of fear, they are days of cleansing, restoration, and divine reinforcement. Archangel Michael surrounds you on all sides, guarding your steps, calming your inner world, and blocking every shadow that tried to approach you. God says these 2 days are not about hospitalization, not about pain, not about physical harm. They are about heaven stepping in, heaven purifying, heaven strengthening, heaven closing a chapter that someone else tried to open for you without the authority to touch your destiny. God says the person who attempted to interfere did it out of jealousy, out of confusion, out of frustration that your spirit is rising when theirs is shrinking. They tried to pour heaviness into your path because they thought you wouldn't notice. But your spirit is too sensitive, your energy is too sharp, and your connection to God is too strong. You felt the disturbance instantly. You felt the shift. You felt something was not right. God says that sensitivity is a divine gift, not a weakness. It is what allowed heaven to act before anything could affect you. God says Archangel Michael went ahead of you and removed every spiritual toxin, every negative vibration, every whispered intention that had no permission to come near you. You are safe. You are whole. You are protected beyond what you even realize. God says the reason this message needed to reach you urgently is because He wanted to calm your thoughts. He wanted to pull you out of fear, out of worry, out of anxiety. He wanted you to know that everything you felt recently is already resolved in heaven. God says nothing will go wrong with you. God says you are covered. God says you are wrapped in divine armor. God says not even a whisper of harm will enter your life. He wants you to rest tonight. He wants you to breathe. He wants you to stop imagining worst-case scenarios. He wants you to trust that He is in the invisible places working miracles you cannot yet see. God says the next chapter of your life is too important for Him to allow distractions or spiritual interference. This is why He is stepping in